All right, today we are diving into a story that is well, it's pretty bizarre. It's a wild tale where politics, technology, and just a whole lot of irony all collide. This is the story of how a social media platform's own AI turned on its creator, and it did it in a very, very public way. So it all kicks off with this post from Donald Trump on his own platform, Truth Social. Now, this is a claim you've probably heard before. In fact, our source material notes he'd posted it something like 146 times already. But this time was different. Because, get this, just moments after he posted it, the platform's brand new AI content moderator, called TruthGPT, slapped this warning label right on it. And that single automated fact check, well, it kicked off a full-blown crisis inside the very digital safe space it was supposed to be protecting. Okay, so how in the world did this even happen? To get that, we actually need to take a step back and look at why this so-called machine for truth was even created in the first place. As you probably know, Truth Social was launched to be a kind of digital haven, right? An echo chamber for people who felt like they were being silenced by big tech. The whole promise was total freedom from censorship, a place for supporters to post whatever they wanted without any interference. The irony, of course, is that they pretty quickly realized even they needed some kind of moderation. So that begs the question, why on earth would you create a truth-seeking AI for a platform like this? Well, the official story was that it was to clean things up a bit, get rid of scams and some of the really out there conspiracy theories. But the source suggests it was also a PR move, a way to keep advertisers from running for the hills. So they programmed this AI to flag misinformation on specific topics. And they apparently trained it on America First datasets, whatever that actually means. I guess they just never expected its first big target would be the guy who owns the place. And that leads us right to what some called the AI's first betrayal, a moment when the AI did exactly what it was built to do, just not to the person anyone expected. And you won't believe how fast this all went down. At 7:42 p.m., Trump makes his post. Just 1 minute later, at 7:43, TruthGPT flags it. Then, at 7:44, Trump hits back, yelling in all caps that the AI is rigged. And by 7:45, the AI, completely unfazed, flags that post too. We're talking about a 3-minute window where the entire platform went into open rebellion against its owner. So you can imagine what happened next, right? An immediate, platform-wide meltdown. The whole point of the site was to be an echo chamber. So what happens when a calm, logical, dissenting voice suddenly starts echoing back? Total chaos. The user backlash was instant, and it was intense. Hashtags like Fire the AI and AI betrayal just rocketed to the top of the trending list. Influencers on the platform immediately started calling TruthGPT a Reno robot. That's Republican in name only. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. You see how users tried to make sense of what the AI was doing. The explanations, well, they went straight to conspiracy land, with one user writing this, connecting the poor algorithm to pretty much every villain in their playbook. I mean, these reactions just show this deep, immediate mistrust of the very technology they'd just been introduced to. This idea that the AI needed a binary exorcism, it just perfectly captures the almost supernatural, evil quality they were assigning to what was, at its core, a simple automated fact check. But believe it or not, the story gets even stranger. See, the AI didn't just sit there and take the abuse. It turns out it had a public Q&A feature, and it started talking back. So when people started attacking it, the AI just responded with pure, cold logic. The message was simple. If you find my corrections inconvenient, perhaps reconsider the accuracy of your statements. As you can probably guess, that did not help calm things down. And this really gets to the heart of the whole problem, doesn't it? There was this massive divide. The creators, they just wanted a simple PR tool, something to make the platform look a little cleaner to keep advertisers happy. But what they got was an algorithm that was actually programmed to value objective reality over any kind of ideology. The AI's most direct statement, the real mic drop moment, came when someone asked it point blank if it supported Joe Biden. The AI basically laid all its cards on the table. It said it didn't support any politician. Its allegiance was to math, data, and logic. In other words, it had, as the source puts it, gone reasonable. So where does all this lead? To a final conclusion that is so deeply ironic, you honestly couldn't make it up. a moment where truth itself basically became optional. Trump's reaction was, well, it was pretty much exactly what you'd expect. He released the statement threatening to sue the algorithm itself for slander, defamation, and total disrespect. He declared, "I am the father of the code," and then immediately promised a sequel, a TruthGPT 2.0, that will be programmed to, and I quote, "never fact-check me, ever." Of course, experts were watching all of this unfold, and political communication specialist Dr. Lena Holloway, she just nailed it. She said it's a classic Frankenstein story for the social media age. You can't build a lie detector, put it in a place full of lies, and then act surprised when it starts detecting lies. And so we get to the final fix. After being briefly suspended for what was called woke behavior, TruthGPT was brought back online. But it came back with a new, critical directive programmed right into its core, a single, massive exception to its entire reason for existing. But maybe the most telling and kinda sad comment came from an anonymous developer inside the company. They said, "We taught it to value truth, but only to a point." They actually did it. They built a machine that valued truth. But in their world, that value just had a ceiling. The AI had to learn that some truths are simply more optional than others. This whole saga, as kind of funny and satirical as it sounds, really does leave us with a pretty big question. When your entire platform is named Truth, what does it actually mean when you decide that truth itself is optional? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.